All right, this is number 13. The radius of a right circular cylinder is increasing at the rate of 4 centimeters per second, but its total surface area remains constant at 600 pi centimeters squared. At what rate is the height changing when the radius is 10 centimeters? Okay, so I'm going to draw a right circular cylinder, which I was just going to put a cylinder, make sure it's a right circular cylinder. So all the right circular cylinder means is draw a regular old cylinder that you would think of, like toilet tissue paper roll or whatever. Okay, it just means that when you drop straight from the middle down to the bottom, it makes a right angle. Okay? All right, so the radius is increasing, which means what's happening is it's becoming wider, but if the surface area is going to stay the same, then it would also have to be getting shorter. So like it's drawing a new, like, this would be maybe a new one, right? Wider, well, but shorter, okay. All right, so that the surface area stays the same. All right, so let's see, we need the surface area, I'm going to call it capital S, of a right circular cylinder, which is, well, it's actually just pi r squared times 2, right? Does that make sense? Because you got a top and a bottom. Okay. Plus, now if you were to actually cut this open and cut this and open it up, it would just be the circumference times the height. Do you see? Like if you were to cut it right here and then just open it up so that it was a rectangle, all right, then this part, the length came from the circle of the cylinder, the outer part right here. And then the height is where we cut it. Okay. So anyway, it's plus 2 pi r, that's the circumference of a circle, times h. Okay, so now we need the radius. Okay, so it says the radius is increasing at a rate of 4 centimeters per second. So that would be dr dt is 4 centimeters per second. But its total surface area remains constant. So ds dt is 0 centimeters squared per second because it's constant. And then S is 600 pi square centimeters. What rate is the height changing? So that's dh dt when the radius is 10 centimeters. All right. So now I'm going to do the derivative of this and then see what else I need from there. So I get ds dt equals 4 pi r dr dt plus, now this is going to be 2 pi times, now this is the product rule, so that'd be dr dt h plus r dh dt. Okay. Now I have r is 10. I have ds dt is 0. I have dr dt is 4. R is 10, so I got that. That's 0, 2 pi. Dr dt, I got again there. I do not have h, and I don't have dh dt, so I need to figure out h. Okay. So, oh, well, I could just use the surface area formula up here because I do have r. So if I plugged, and I do have S. So if I plug in S and R, so always remember just, and that seems to be a common thing, right? Like look back at your original formula before you took the derivative and see if you could plug in and solve for anything you don't have here, okay? So let me plug in everything here and let me show you one more time what I was doing. So ds dt is 0, 4 pi, R is 10, dr dt is 4 plus 2 pi, and then dr dt is 4 I don't have h on the list. I'm like, oh, I gotta figure that out. Plus r is 10. And dh dt, I don't know. Which is really what my actual question is. So this is not the question. This is the question. Okay? Which means this guy's got to come from some secondary equation or from filling in my primary equation before I took its derivative. And I didn't even have a secondary equation on this one, so I'm just going to use this guy. All right, so be able to figure that out. I'm going to take this and plug it in. So S is 600 pi equals 2 pi times 10 squared plus 2 pi times 10 h, right? And so then I'm going to cancel out my 2 pi's and a pi here and 2, which would be 300. So I get, and then I'm going to cancel out a 10. So I get 30 equals 10 plus h. And that's okay if you don't want to solve it that way. If you want to multiply them out and solve, it will still work out just fine. So I get that 20 is h. Okay, so now I can take that and plug it in right there. All right, so now I have here that 0 equals, let's see, that's 4 times 4 is 16, so 160 pi plus 2 pi times 80 plus 10 dh dt. It's getting a little squished there. See, 4 times 20 is 80. All right, and then I'm just going to divide everything by 2 pi because this is all multiplied, so divide this by 2 pi, divide this by 2 pi, and divide this by 2 pi. So then that gives me 0 equals, and then that is 80, right? 2 times 8 is, yes. And then this is going to cancel that. So then I get plus 80 plus 10 dh dt. So then I get negative 160 equals 10 dh dt. So negative 16. Now I need what? There it is, centimeters per second equals dh dt. Now, don't let yourself get bogged down in that mental math that I was doing. If you, once you get to here, you solve it out and see if you get the same thing, okay? Don't get stressed if you can't keep up with what I was doing with simplifying, all right? Okay, that's it.